By nature, the Kalenjin community are very secretive, and therefore it is very difficult to do any analysis on Kalenjin politics, and I mean deep analysis. And that is why the current spat, the current controversy between Senator Samson Cherargei and Kipchumba Murkomen, who is a CS and a very close ally to William Ruto, has puzzled many. There are even some analysts who think it is staged. Actually, it is not. In fact, it is so serious that if it is not checked on time, it could cause President William Ruto some very serious problems. And I mean very serious. Now, what seems to be happening is that a very serious rebellion by the Nandi sub-tribe within the Kalenjin community is brewing. Now, we need to understand some basic facts before we can even attempt to analyze what is going on here. And for starters, it is important to note that the headstrong Nandi community have always been a problem. They are the most influential, yes, although they don't have the highest numbers. The most populous sub-tribe are the Kipsigis, and the last census told us that they number 1.9 million against the Nandis roughly 937,000. That's a difference of almost 1 million. But still, traditionally the Nandi have always been the most influential sub-tribe within the Kalenjin community. Legendary military genius Koitalel Arap Samoei, who caused the British such serious problems when they were building the railway line, delayed the railway line to Uganda for 11 long years using his brilliant strategic military moves, with just bows and arrows, against the mighty British Empire's guns and cannons. Koitalel was a member of the Nandi sub-tribe. Now, kindly just be patient with me. This information is very critical for us to fully understand what is going on. Now, the late second president of the Republic of Kenya, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, hailed from the Turgen sub-tribe, who are a minority. And in retrospect, that was a huge advantage to Moi in keeping the volatile, or rather his volatile Kalenjin community in check. And the way Moi did it was by ensuring that he has the kingpins of every sub-tribe close to him, and he always endeavored to keep them happy. You know, there was a cabinet minister in the Moi regime who I always wondered about, the late Francis Lotondo. On very many occasions, Lotondo was a huge embarrassment to the Moi government. He was very quick to act, very quick to speak, without putting much thought to what he was saying. He spoke like a village warrior, and yet he was a cabinet minister for the entire Republic of Kenya. Indeed, there are times when donors came for meetings and they could not believe their eyes. And that is why I'm convinced to this day that Bwana Lotondo, amongst others, gave the Moi regime a very, very bad image. Extremely bad. Of course, Sly Moi tried to repair this regime in later years. For instance, by appointing a Mzungu as Secretary of the Cabinet and head of the civil service, the late Philip Leakey. But my point is that Moi persevered with this, lived with this, mainly because he wanted to keep his own community in check, the Kalenjin community. because he understood very well that they were very capable of springing up nasty political surprises on him. So wise Moi took care of that in that way. But current President William Samoei Ruto is a very different character. It seems that he has been taking for granted the support of the community. And this is why we're beginning to see these cracks and these tiffs here and there and problems. And we all know in politics, a major crisis starts as a very small problem. And therefore in politics, you really have to be very careful about the small details. History clearly confirms and reconfirms that to us. And these problems for Ruto started even when he was deputy president. Flashback to the run-up to the 2017 general elections. There was a very big problem in Uasin Gishu. And the whole problem was triggered by Ruto himself. Now Uasin Gishu is of course cosmopolitan, but the dominant sub-tribe there are the Nandi. And the governor at that time, Jackson Mandago, hails from the Nandi sub-tribe. And it seems Ruto did not like Mandago. It is not very clear what the reason precisely was. But then of course we know that the Nandi are always headstrong, difficult to control. And we know that Ruto is a micromanager, likes to be in total control of everything. And so what Ruto did, he brought his own candidate to remove Mandago from being governor of Uasin Gishu. He intensively coached a businessman known popularly as Buzeki, full names Bundotich Zedekiah Kiprop. Actually Buzeki comes from his initials. And he even succeeded in building up this rookie politician to becoming a serious threat to removing Mandago from office. One of the things he did was to play the Nandi against the other Kalenjin sub-tribes in Uasin Gishu, who all rallied behind Buzeki. At one point, very close to the general elections, it looked like Buzeki would actually win. Indeed, there are those who are convinced, including this analyst, that he was going to win. Because you see, Jubilee had another secret weapon. The weapon of pop, 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 you're duly elected. They were just going to simply rig him in. Now, those Kenyans who have long memories will remember that Uasin Gishu in 2017 ilikuwa moto kuliko pasi ya makaa. It was fire because Mandago did not take all this lying down. He rallied the Nandi community fully behind him. And if you want to know how serious this thing was, even people like Oscar Sudi, who had always been very close to Ruto, sided with Mandago on this one. Both Sudi and Mandago are Nandis. And those who followed those elections will also remember that actually Raila Odinga and NASA in Uasin Gishu were supporting Mandago, which was strange because Mandago was supposed to be in Jubilee and Raila Odinga and NASA on the other side. Indeed, in that election in Uasin Gishu County, there was a lot of cooperation between NASA and Mandago. And at one point, Mandago threatened Ruto and Uhuru directly. He told them in a coded message that if they notice that the election is being rigged against Mandago or that Mandago is losing, they would rally the entire Nandi community to vote for Raila Odinga and NASA. Now, the way this coded message was delivered was in a way that I could not understand at the time. Well, you know how that epic battle ended. Mandago won in the end. Okay? Ruto decided to cool his heels. it just got too hot. Of course, Buzeki ran as an independent candidate in that election, but it was Mandago who was declared winner for a second and final term as governor of Uasin Gishu. Now coming to the present, the tiff between Cherargei and Kipchumba, with Murkomen complaining that Cherargei and company were rejecting a contractor simply since the man was not a Kalenjin. And Cherargei made himself very clear. He said that the contract to build the road in Nandi County must be given to a local contractor. And did you know there is even an organization for contractors from the Nandi community? It's called the Nandi Contractors Association. And then something very confusing happened. Oscar Sudi, who is also from the Nandi subtribe, came out and fired barbs at Cherargei. He said that in the Ruto government, people don't do things like that. Fight it out in public. Sudi said that the way things were done in the Ruto administration was that people sat down and talked it out, whatever the issue was. So, what happened here? Sudi is Nandi, Cherargei is Nandi. What is the problem? Murkomen, of course, hails from Elgeyo Marakwet, where we have the sub-tribes like the Keio, with a population of about 250,000, the Marakwet, with a population of about 120k, and then the others are very, very small sub-tribes, like the Sengewer or Cherangani, who have a mere population of 8,323, according to the 2019 census. By the time I came in to make this video, I had not yet been able to confirm which of these communities CS Kipchumba Murkomen hails from. But an interesting aside, the late Nicholas Kipiator Biwot, who was from the same area, hailed from the Keio, the most populous community in Elgeyo Marakwet. In my opinion, I believe the main issue here is that unlike Moi, who ensured that he kept all the sub-tribes happy by having their kingpin close on the high table, unlike Moi, Ruto is running things differently. He has his own close allies, and Oscar Sudi is very, very close to Ruto. Now there's a lot of controversy about which particular sub-tribe Ruto hails from. Most people believe that is Nandi. His father is Kipsigis, and it is his mother who is Nandi. And in my opinion, that is the most telling evidence that this information is accurate. Because trust me, this problem would never have started if the Kalenjin community considered Ruto to be Nandi. Now it seems that the feeling amongst the powerful, influential Nandi is that they've been pushed aside. They're not fully on the high table eating with the rest, and therefore they have decided to hit back, which is really their nature. As I said earlier, the Nandi are very headstrong. And so what is happening here is that the stage has been set for Kivumbi. The stage has been set for a very major political battle, very deep inside the UDA party. There are many who are resentful because they believe that others are eating more than them, and they contributed more votes, they contributed more influence in making Ruto president, according to them. And therefore they feel it does not make sense for others who did not play such a big role as they did, according to them, when those others seem to be doing so much better than them. That is really the crux of the matter. That is really where the problem is. And you have to believe that this is serious, because some people within UDA, I believe from the Nandi community, have gone to court to challenge the constitutionality of the post of head of the public service, a post which is currently held by Felix Kosgei. Yeah. These UDA people have told the court that no such office exists in the Constitution. Friends, hii kitu ni serious, and it will be interesting to see what happens. The most likely thing, of course, is that a peace meeting is going to be called, if it has already not been called by the time I'm doing this video. However, in my opinion, it will be very difficult to quench this fire. Going forward, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's going to be very difficult, because emotions are running very high, and there's a lot of unfinished business on the side. Let me give you a quick example. Do you know that currently former governor of Uasin Gishu and current senator Jackson Mandago has been charged in court, and it appears that kuna machungu mingi sana, especially because of the history of the Mandago-Ruto relationship. Yeah, it has always been hot and cold. Leo mambo mzuri, kesho things are bad, and so on and so forth. So it will be super fascinating to see how this one develops. For now, please allow me to give you a very important heads up. At least this information will prove to be valuable to some of us on this channel. Now, we all know that times are very hard. Yeah, and people in business, people want to promote their businesses, are having a very difficult time reaching their potential clients. And you know, this is critical for any business to survive during these hard times. Somehow you have to get business. Now I have the greatest news. This channel reaches a very unique audience. Kenyans in the diaspora, older Kenyans. You know, the channels reach a lot of young people. Yeah, and unfortunately, most young people don't have much purchasing power. But the purchasing power in the views on this channel are huge, and we have proved that. Somebody advertised some land the other day in Naivasha. Within hours of that video going up, it was sold, and we're talking about a double-digit million. And therefore, if you have a product or service that you need to promote, I think you should seriously consider sponsoring a Kumekucha video. Yeah, that means that you get a mention in one of my videos and a lot more to let others know what you're doing. And I'm sure a lot of your potential clients always tune in very regularly to this channel. And therefore, it is a fabulous, amazing opportunity for you to reach your audience very cheaply and very effectively. Kindly check in the description area of this video for more details. And then you can also send me an email on that email address you see on your screens right now, or even call directly on that number for more information. Now, of course, space is limited. Yeah, we already have 1 or 2 people lined up, and it's very limited because we can't do this for everybody, and we do not produce that many videos. Yeah, therefore I suggest that you take action immediately so that you don't lose this golden opportunity. Now, I've just released weekly intelligence briefings number 115. 116 will be out in the next few hours. Yeah, and there's a very good opportunity of getting hold of my weekly intelligence briefings by taking full advantage of our latest offer on that book, audiobook, The Ruto Kenyans Will Never Know. There is a unique opportunity over the next 24 hours to do so. If you feel that you need this very important content and your budget doesn't quite cut it to enable you to get your hands on it. For the next 24 hours, you can name your prize. Lakini usinifinye sana. And for that reason, the limit will be 50. Yeah, the first 50 to send me an email. On that email address you see on your screens right now, youmissthis@gmail.com, naming your prize. And then guess what? I will also throw in another valuable Kumekucha book. You can choose for yourself, or you can allow me to choose for you. The most liked of my other ebooks, of course, is Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency, How Mutula Kilonzo Sr. was murdered. Yeah. And then there's another one called The President's Lovers. Now that last one of you took it in recently, and they were delighted, very excited about it. And yes, it talks about a Kenyan president. And so, you have this very exciting opportunity. Please take full advantage of it. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.